So everyone knows that Harry Potter is definitely a Christmas movie, and if you disagree, you're just dumb. So today, in spirit of the upcoming holiday, I decided to go way back into the realm of nostalgia and play LEGO Harry Potter again. And you get the Platinum Trophy on it as you do. I first played this game way back on the Nintendo DS actually, and if anyone out there has mine, please give it back. I lost it like 9 years ago. Anyways, the game has 37 total trophies in it, with most actually not being given from the story since you don't get trophies from most missions or levels. I also only played the first version of the game, which is just years 1 through 4 for this video since there's like 2 different games for it. But if you want to see the other game with years 5 to 7, then let's get this video to 5,000 likes. So the game opens up with the first movie scene where the whole gang of old people who might be on a list somewhere are just casually dropping off a baby to some people's houses in the middle of the night. Also, Hagrid pulled Harry straight out of his butthole, which is probably where the scar comes from in reality. You then get an insanely fast summary of the entire intro for the first movie or book in like under a minute, which really resembles my videos, and I feel pretty included now. So the game's first level takes place in the Leaky Cauldron and Diagon Alley. You pretty much just spend your time learning the very basics of basics in terms of what the heck to do. Also in the future, these areas are also like the shop and or hub for the game outside of Hogwarts, which is neat. But anyways, you end up in Gringotts eventually and have to open up Harry's vault so he can get his early inheritance since both of his parents are dead. What a friendly game.
Rated E for everyone.
This bank goblin was also making some crazy art, and it reminds me so much of Twitch right now. Unreal. Eventually we opened up the vault and Harry got to see his fortune. Hagrid also got to see what his parents left behind for him. Inflation is crazy, man, let me tell you. Next, Harry got his wand, and literally 2 seconds later, you could see him plot to kill every single fat bitch at Hogwarts. Thankfully, he wasn't ready yet and the level ended. We then got to watch a lot of cutscenes and everyone getting placed into their respectable houses until the next level picks up with the boys in Gryffindor's house. And boys will be boys, so me and the homie trashed it immediately because why the heck not? This isn't our house. So the way this game directs you to your objective is with ghost NPCs, and they also leave a stud trail behind them. So if you get lost, you don't actually jump out of a window with frustration. Collecting those ghost studs is also a trophy in the future, but I gotta say, the exploration of this game is insanely confusing, and I'm not sure how children did it back then. The next few levels are all just classes in the game where you learn spells and stuff so you can actually do things in a wizardly fashion. But I would still love to see a realistic wizard movie where they try to like combat with AR-15s, because there's no way you're about to tell me Avada Kedavra isn't just the equivalent to a dirty headshot. Speaking of dirty things, a troll ended up in the castle and began to wreak havoc among everything. For whatever reason, it also ended up in the girls' bathroom. Wait, I get it now. My man! That's what I'm saying! Anyways, this is the first boss fight of the game, which this game actually has a lot of, and I love it for that. But it's super easy, and all you have to do is use that Levioso spell and send the rubble from the ceiling back at the troll. Until he is only on 1 heart, and then you just move the club around his head, and eventually the game realizes it's supposed to drop on the troll and effectively take him out. Also, poor Hermione got gassed like a World War II victim in the stall she was in the whole time. But Emma Watson fell off harder than my channel in 2022, so it's alright. After all the action, we then were forced to go to school and do some real learning, which is lame as hell. And I had to look up how to do it. One of these such lessons, however, did have us learn Quidditch, which is this world's sport. And I gotta say, riding hard sticks is a lot of fun. I just can't get enough. So anyways, I was heading to the next level of the game after all the previous lessons we were learning, and I ended up capturing enough farts from the ghost studs and got the trophy for that, giving me my first trophy of the day. And it only took 2 hours. So this next level has us in a Quidditch game like I was talking about. However, poor Harry didn't have his giant wand handy and was being assaulted with words by another professor at the school. And I thought my ex-girlfriend was the only one who had words of power. I was wrong. So to stop this evil man, we got to play as a woman because fire fights fire in their eyes. And also a ginger for comic relief. This level also has the only speedrun trophy for the entire game. And since this is also an older title, it's suggested on various online sources to try and get this first try, or else you might have some buggy instances later. The time for its speedrun is only 5 minutes, and that is very, very easy to do. I even messed it up numerous times because I'd like to make it harder for myself, and I still ended up getting the trophy. But this ending cutscene was low-key weird. The cameraman just kept on zooming in on Harry's butt cheeks and ball seam, which is definitely not rated E for everyone. However, everyone should go drop a like and subscribe right now, or else you're oh, and look at that! It's Christmas time, baby! See, I told you this franchise was a Christmas one. How dare you doubt me? So yeah, Harry, instead of getting a PS5 for Christmas, ended up getting an invisibility cloak, which is awesome, and personally, I would just sit in the girls' dorm. No comment. But we used it a lot in the next level when sneaking around the restricted section of the library. I don't even want to imagine what kind of crazy porn those warlocks got, but it must be magical. This section, however, did take me a while and had me lose my mind in the process because my IQ was way too high and I couldn't figure out what to do. I finally found all the items I needed, and then we went through this big scary door into another corridor, which led to even more puzzles. However, when I finished all of those, it ends with us seeing into this mirror, which shows your greatest wishes in life. My boy Ron got that dream that we all do. Harry got some weird thing with his parents, I don't even know. Now that level ended pretty wholesomely, so the next one picked up with us in the Forbidden Forest spying on an evil man eating a unicorn. Now that's comedy. Our objective now is to just escape the forest and not die to the various enemies, like bees. There was a ton of puzzles in this level though, and I even got to play as a dog, which truly solidifies the fact that I have a dog in me.
What do you mean by that?
This level ends with us running into a very scary looking red hole. Not sure why we thought that was the way to go, but we got saved by an oddly handsome horseman. I finally get Baldur's Gate 3's obsession. Anyways, like the normal Its Ilusion video, this game takes a sharp uptick in progress and gives us the final level of the first year right away. It should be mentioned also that each year only has 6 levels, so that's why it's so fast paced. But this is basically the part of the game where you have to go through numerous different areas and do the specific challenge in each one to get past. The first has you build a heart for this mutated dog since it has good taste apparently. Next, you basically just fall through the ground a few times in this vine area until you reach this key tower place. You then chase around the flying keys until hitting them enough that they just give up. And finally, you make it to a chess game with life-size pieces. Magnus Carlsen would definitely bust a nut to this. Thankfully, I don't know how to play chess, but the game does, and I got through making it to the boss fight room. This fight is with Professor Quirrell, or there's just Voldemort if you will.
Do not speak his name.
The way to beat him is to yet again throw back whatever he sends at you, except this time you gotta aggressively grab him with your sticky shoulder hands until he has had enough. And the second you beat him, you also get the trophy for beating year 1, which was named Junior. I'm not sure why, to be honest, that makes 0 sense. Also, they give you credits after each year, which is funny because why? So the first level for year 2 begins, and somehow it turned into what my mother does on a daily basis. But me and the Gingers did some shrooms and teleported through a chimney with green explosions. My kind of day. This teleported us to the shady side of town. East Detroit. Anyways, we were just basically shopping for stuff and ended up buying absolutely nothing, but we got a sneak peek at this brand new author guide that all the girls love. Where did I go wrong? Next, we ended up in Hogwarts finally and got to do a bunch of learning right away, which is exactly how I love spending my day. The first real level in Hogwarts, funnily enough, was just another Quidditch one where we had to stop someone from ruining the game. This time it was a tiny elf though, and I kind of felt bad for literally trying to kill it 5 times. So yeah, eventually we put an end to that short thing's reign of terror, and Harry ended up with a limp arm that resembles your father's penis after such a failed marriage. I did get to play as a nun though, so that could help him out. That same nun also gave Harry a load of meth, I think, and the boy jumped right out of his seat and he was ready to take on the world. Before any more levels, we got to do more learning, but this time we did a cool version and battled our friends and teachers to death in the classroom. Some would call this pre-calculus, but it's just dueling in this universe. We also learned that Harry can speak to snakes. Low-key weird, and I would be afraid of what comes up on that CAT scan, I'm not gonna lie. So we ended up in the girls' bathroom again, and I'm honestly worried about the path that this is gonna take the boys down. This amount of misunderstanding could lead us to Chris Tyson. But it probably won't, since the homies were actually just in there to get super drunk in the middle of school hours. Anyways, I'm just gonna skip to the endings of each year's level because we have like 0 trophies so far, and this video is gonna be super long if I don't. So the final level for year 2 has you battle this ginormous snake in the sewers, and it's literally like we are in New York right now. The thing even shoots lasers out of its eyes. It's insane. And I'm not gonna cap with you, I had no idea how to beat it, which seemed to be a trend because I really struggled to focus on the tiny things in the midst of everything happening. Which is why I'm convinced I have an undiagnosed mental illness. The doctors can't even figure it out.
You're simply retarded.
But once you get the snake down to 1 heart, you can just pick up this giant sword right next to it and smack it on the face for the fatal blow, which gives you the year 2 trophy instantly. Year 3 is based around the prisoner of Azkaban, obviously, and is riddled with dementors everywhere, which literally suck the soul out of you. Good times. Anyways, this fight was one of the more annoying ones at the end, mostly just because dementors constantly spawn in and the only spell used to kill them has a super annoying recharge rate. Basically, I'm trying to say I was suckled off more than I want to admit. Anyways, once the main dementor guy lost all of his health, the fight was won and the trophy popped right after. So the final year for the game began, which is year 4, and at the beginning of it, I ended up finishing every single lesson you can in the game, and got a trophy for being such a good student. So yeah, the ending for year 4 is the big old competition thing, which teleports you and Cedric to the graveyard to boss battle Lord Voldemort. And as we can all agree, the 4th movie and book is by far the best out of them all. No debate. And I gotta say, this boss battle was sadly the most unepic thing ever, and it was probably the easiest out of all 4 we've done so far. But hey, a trophy is a trophy, I won't complain, man. And yeah, we got the 4th year trophy with the completed story 1 also. Now, as you can see, we have a lot of trophies to do, even though the quote-unquote story has been completed. I decided to torture myself with the longest grind first to make all the other stuff easier. You have to gather 100% of the collectibles in the game, meaning all the red bricks, gold bricks, character tokens, house crests, and students in payroll. Also, you have to get true wizard on each level. I began this grueling grind by finishing off every normal level in terms of collectibles and not doing true wizards, since that is dumb easy once you get all the multipliers at the end. This took me around another hour and a half to do since I had to replay every single one, but the true grind came after I gathered all the house crests, because now I have to go get all the collectibles in the normal free roam game. Shout out to this guide, by the way, because without it there is no shot I would have done this in any sort of feasible time period. But on the grueling grind of doing these collectibles, I did get a few trophies within, like going back in time for the first time. I know, it makes sense. Also for running over 10 people with vehicles in the game, which I find absolutely hilarious and would do again. And then finally, after a few hours, I managed to find all the red bricks first. I did, however, miss a single student in payroll, which also meant I missed a gold brick also. So that's awesome. Before going back and finding that guy, however, I did some cleanup first and got true wizard on every single level, which is insanely easy with the 3000 times plus stud multiplier. In fact, some levels I will literally spawn in and grab a single stud and then leave because it was maxed out. I then went and bought multiple people because the slave trade still exists in this world for some reason. I guess the wizards are truly into that life, who would have thought? After that, I actually went back to the very first student in peril and discovered that it was indeed the one I missed, because I forgot to hit the guy after I saved him technically. Not gonna lie, this made me so happy because I thought I was gonna have to re-explore everything again. So now that we have gotten all the collectibles, we have to go play each bonus level and finish them all to get the remaining 10 gold bricks and Lord Voldemort's character token after bonus level 10. On the first bonus level, I did some multiplayer trophy though and got that, which was hot. And then I finished all these tutorial builder levels, which was apparently an idea some guy had at the LEGO Studios like 16 years ago that never caught on. These bonus levels just consisted of a few puzzles here and there, but weren't too long, and some actually were super easy to do. I managed to get that final gold brick after like 45 minutes total of playtime in these. Now you have to go do the final bonus level, which has you play as Lord Voldemort, and you need to get 1 million studs just from damaging the local London streets. Low-key rude, they don't need any more help, those streets are already chaos half the time. This actually took quite a while, funnily enough, because you get 0 multipliers in it and have to go in raw, if you know what I'm saying. But after that's done, I unlocked the dude and then got 100% completion. However, the trophy didn't pop right away and I was a little scared it was broken. But then it did pop, so it was chill. Now I just have to go clean up some specific tasks within certain levels and just overall kill counters. The first was to get 20 kills playing as the dog character, since I got that dog in me. And I just did it over and over on the same bee that was being forced out of its colony as tribute. I then had to break the 4th wall and defeat Voldemort as Voldemort. I love mind games, especially with dead bald men who love children with glasses. I then had another kill trophy, but this time it was with Ron against Spider, since he has arachnophobia or something like that. And it says to kill 20, but I swear I killed more than that, or at least it felt like that in the moment. You can also buy spells in this game, which I had no idea you could do that until the end of the game. But one of them can freeze enemies in a solid ice cube, and if you use it over and over on students, you will eventually get a trophy for being a menace to society. Speaking of menaces, I also scared 20 of the students with a ghost character, which was funny. I then played as Professor Snape and hid his giant nose in a barrel, and had to beat the troll boss fight using Professor Quirrell, who was Voldemort man with a towel. Low-key racist. There was a weird trophy, however, for defeating Harry Potter as Voldemort on the graveyard level. You basically have to kill your teammates with Voldemort as they are Harry Potter. For some reason, I couldn't figure out how to get both characters while playing by myself, so I just used 2 controllers to do it, and it was easy peasy. I then made it completely silent in my game while in the library so I can watch adult films in peace. And then did American Simulator, killing 10 enemies with a muggle. Now the final trophy was for getting rid of 50 Devil's Snare, which is just the evil plants that are overgrown as hell. And I was thinking to myself, how have I not done this already? Because it's a cumulative throughout the entire game, and getting 50 isn't even that bad. So I loaded up a level that had a lot of them on it, and on my first run through it, I got the trophy, so that was funny. And then the platinum right after. Overall, I loved that game again, and getting the platinum was both super fun and easy, but also hard at the same time because it's a little bit of a grind and it's kind of annoying. So overall, we reach all the spectrums, which is just like how I'm all over the spectrum also. Thanks for watching once more, and remember, 5K likes for more of Harry's wand. Also, happy holidays.